minimize this. Hey guys, welcome back to another live session here from Encoder Fashion. I'm Rose, and if you guys new to clothes, this is the course for you. And by the way though guys, these live session here are more like fun, hands-on, and start with the basic of clothes. So right now it is part 3, and I'm going to continue where we left off from last week, which if you guys new to my channel, I'm streaming this live every Monday, and right now is public to everyone. But in the future, when I'm getting really busy, I will only do to member only. But in this case, because I'm not really busy yet, and I feel like I owe you guys that because I love to be in the live community, and at the same time, I hope you guys take the opportunity and join me learn clothes basic together. Okay, so let's get started. Right now I'm here in clothes. I have this kind of 1/4 pattern. It's more like a, it's not literally pattern, although it is can be pattern, but for the basically pattern, because it is okay. How I explain this? So every time you place any fabric onto the avatar in clothes, it become a pattern. That's what I'm trying to say. Even though just a piece of a cloth. In this case, I try to have a rough sketch of a dress with no sleeve, even though it's not really a full finished dress pattern, but it is still a piece of pattern because every time you draft anything, it's become pattern in clothes 3D. Let's say for example right here, I can curve this armhole here to create the curve and create this curve for the waistline as well as for the neck here. If I want to create it like a U-neck, I can simply create this into a U-neck. However though, before we're gonna do that, I want to point out a couple of things here. So I have a question from viewers talk about toolbar. Where is the best place to place a toolbar in clothes 3D? So the question referring to these 2D and 3D toolbar here, okay? And to answer that, it depends on your computer. So for example, my computer here, I have a laptop, MacBook Pro, which the screen is quite small. And I want to see the entire tool here onto the 3D toolbar as well as 2D toolbar. To see the entire tool, I have to place my toolbar here to the left or to the right. You can place to the right, which give you the same amount of tools that you see that appear on the toolbar. And when I work on my pattern or project, in this case, I want to see all my tools display on the toolbars. However, if you guys work in like say a desktop and you have these 42 inches, I love the big screen monitor, which I used to have. By the way, I used to have 2 of them, and they were really useful for a design project like this. And I have my toolbars above here on top here. And let me show you how to go in to change this toolbar, because it is useful for, especially when you take a clothes update, sometimes you get your toolbar messed up. So it's good to know how to go in and fix it. Simply go to this setting here, and then you want to go to user setting, and then come back here. You want to go to, I believe, either user interface. Yes, that is user interface. And then you come down here. By the way guys, you don't have to do this all the time. You only do it when your tool got messed up, your toolbar got messed up because you took the update from clothes. And clothes update quite often because sometimes they have, bugs fixed or some program doesn't work. For example, a couple weeks ago, the eyedropper tool did not work at all. I tried to use it so many times and didn't work. So if that happened, guys, don't freak out because it's not you. It's just sometimes clothes have to fix those certain issue. And when you took the update, sometimes it's some tools not working well, but the next update they got it fixed. So right now that tool working just fine, and I will show you later in the course. And by the way guys, this is a 30-minute crash course for CLO beginners. Okay, let's time that so I don't miss. All right. So right here, up here we have unit. Right now I'm using centimeter, and if you guys decided to use different unit, you can change it down here. Click and then change it. However, I'm gonna stick with centimeter because that's where I use it all the time when I draft pattern. And down here, so many things here, you don't have to worry too much. All you need to worry, come down here to mode and toolbar. You can change this 3D toolbar and 2D toolbar either to left, top, or right, or bottom. So I decided to leave mine to the left. The same with 2D toolbar. I leave mine to the left, and then render toolbar to the right, just like that. And down here, I like to leave everything as default because why change it? Because the color from one to the next is pretty much the same, unless certain colors just bother you so much, you can change it. So this is like when you highlight the pattern, it have this color, or when you freeze the pattern, will have this light blue color, or when you strengthen the pattern, you have this orange color. So by default, it's perfect. And let's say thickness by default. So everything right here, this is by default. Unless you want to change, like I mentioned earlier, centimeter or simulation or toolbar to left or right. All right, so now let's close this and we can get back to CLO. So, okay, now we are gonna continue talk about tool that we will use to accomplish certain thing. For this course here, it's more tool that essential for pattern making, as well as rendering it and complete an entire garment so we can present it to the customer. So our goal here, create pattern, list them on online for sale, for example on Etsy. Let me show you my online. And by the way, this is my last course from last week, guys. So go to my channel here. If you guys like on Google, you can just type in Encoder Fashion. And then press on search, and here you have Encoder Fashion, and of course have my profile there. You've been following me for a while, you will see I don't change my profile. I like to leave it as is so it's easy for you guys to find me. And also have Encoder Fashion here Etsy. So if you click on this Encoder Fashion Etsy, it will take to my store. So here 3D pattern, close 3D, Adobe Illustrator, perfect for 3D design student and fashion designer who want to save time without building pattern from scratch. So this is my store on Etsy. So my goal here, hope to actually help you guys to accomplish something like this. You can list your pattern, sell online, and you can make a living with just your knowledge and from home, which is pretty awesome, right? And here, this is the pattern that I listed for sale, and I also have some essential stuff. It's actually pretty cool. And guys, it's super, I don't want to say super easy because when I first started create Etsy store, it was a pain in the rear. It was, you have to verify certain things. However, I want to let you know this, it is safe. You know, some online website are kind of sketchy, but Etsy it's quite safe, and they want you verify certain things and you have to follow their guideline. It's safe financially, and it's safe for, you know, any hack, anything like that. All right, which means it is really cool for designer like just go in there and start opening store. You can open multiple store if you want. Right now I have probably 2 store, but my main store is right here in Encoder Fashion, and I sell e-pattern as well as digital pattern and so on. Or also I have fabric texture for sale, and I'm going to create more fabric texture soon, guys, because these knit fabrics is amazing. high quality net fabric, and I use this high like cutting edge software to create this digital net fabric, which give you this realistic feel and look to create this net fabric. So as you can see right here. All right, so now I'm going to kind of close that because we don't need it anymore. Now let's cut back to several courses here only available to members. So if you guys want to support Encoder Fashion, as well as you like don't want to watch ad pop up during the process learning, you can sign up for member only for $4.99, and you can cancel anytime, guys. $4.99 per month. This allows you to access all my pattern courses, which not only that, but you can also support Encoder Fashion, and that is a win-win. And right here I have this course right here. Let's have a listen to this course. So this is how to make pants pattern using automatic tool, automatic pattern, automatic, okay, sorry, certain word it just doesn't come. So automatic pattern making function in CLO, so you can actually follow along, and by the end of the course you can make like 3 of these pants. All right, let's take a listen. Basic pattern blocks in CLO 3D from short to straight and skinny pants by using this auto pattern making tool is called parametric pattern. I will share with you some tips and tricks on how to make these basic pants pattern blocks easy step by step. Are you ready? Let's get to it. To use the auto pattern making tool, I'm going to go to... Alright, so that's one course, and I have the next one here. So this is how to sew a blazer with lining and shoulder pad. Alright, so let's take a listen. I will demonstrate the quickest and easiest way to construct a blazer with shoulder pads and linings in CLO 3D. And to clarify any confusion, I also provide you with step-by-step guideline. The link is listed in the video description below. Okay, let's get started. First, I will bring the pattern into CLO. Simply go to File and then select Import and go. Alright, so as you can see, so far I have several courses from beginner to advanced. Alright, let's give you a little bit of hint about what courses and how they work for the situation. For example, many courses that I offer is more like a work along courses. You can follow along, and by the end of the course you not only learn the how to use CLO to create pattern, but you also create pattern at the end of the course, so the end of each course. And let's just a CLO tip thing is like, you know, certain thing that, let's say animation, you want to do your animation and you already have pattern created. In this case, you just learn how to do animation and you just use your pattern, something like that. Another thing that I want to point out here, guys, live session, I'm treating like having fun, community stuff, but when it comes to making tutorial, if you watch my tutorial in the past or you will watch in the future, I just want you to know that the tutorial will go fast and get to the point. No, I will eliminate any extra stuff, only cut to the point that help you finish your job or your task during that period, which is hand-on, step-by-step, and no extra, which means get to the point, you save your time and finish your task where you're supposed to do. Alright, so now let's minimize all this and we're gonna get back to CLO. And by the way, guys, go on and check them out because they are fun and you guys can like start working on your garment and have fun with CLO. Okay, so now we are here back in CLO, guys. So we are going to use a couple of tools here. Before we can do that though, so the week before I mentioned about this vertical toggle menu here that is referring to a display menu. You will hear me referring to a display menu more so than a vertical toggle menu, because to me here you display certain item and you hide certain item. Let's say information. here, if I click on that information, hover the mouse to the right, and if I want to turn on ruler here, I click on it, now the ruler appear. Just like that. Let's say if I want to hide that ruler, go back over there, information, and then go back down here, and then turn off ruler. However though guys, ruler is useful when it comes to drafting pattern. It's almost like you have the entire cutting table that lay out for you. Let's say if I come over here and then turn on ruler, and I can simply create guides just like that. Simply drag, click and drag, and then create these guides. So if you guys familiar with Adobe Illustrator, it's similar idea. You can create guide, then delete guide, right click, delete all guide, you can lock guide, all those stuff. However though, with CLO, designed for pattern making, which allow you to measure your pattern, measure your line, give you this tool that's specific for doing so. Let's say edit pattern tool, I can use that and then click on the line. If I zoom in, I can see the measurement of each line. That is super useful guys, which allow me to draft pattern super accurate, literally get into like point accurate. When we draft pattern by hand, sometimes we kind of mix and match, we don't get like super accurate, but here you can get into like points accurate exactly. So now let's talk about a couple more things that I think it is useful, and sometimes we kind of get freak out if we, let's say for example right here, garment rendering style. Okay, so sometimes when we import the pattern into CLO, and then this right here turned out to be either disappear or something like that. Let's say if I click on the transparent surface, and now you don't see this fabric at all, you only see the line, and then you wonder what's going on. And if you see that situation or this happened to you, no worry, all you need to go back to that display menu and then change it to front texture here. Now you see the front texture. Front texture is allow you to see front and not the back though, because the back is hidden behind it. But if you come to 3D and then rotate this, by the way guys, I'm rotating this. I'm rotating this by using my right mouse here and pressing on Command or Control to rotate this. And if you want to pan this workspace, simply press on Option or All and then left click. You can pan to anywhere you want. So over here, you can only pan this. You can't rotate it in the 2D window. However though, you can zoom in and zoom out while using this middle mouse here. So scroll forward to zoom in, scroll backward to zoom out, just like that. So this is the CLO basic that I think when I first starting to use CLO, all this stuff right here, I think it is super useful if I know it ahead. So that's why I thought, it is important for me to share with you guys that, because as a pattern maker of, for example, if you just, transition from making pattern in a real world, for me, that's happened to me. I make pattern since I was young, and I make pattern by hand using paper, pencil, chalk. And to transition into CLO, it's quite tough to understand the workspace. I already understand the pattern, which kind of help, but it's not all help when you walk into CLO and here you try to render something and something doesn't feel right, especially if right here, if I click on this simulation button right here, and now my pattern, boom, hit the floor, and then I'm like, what did I do wrong? So I have to go back and then stop the simulation, and then I can click on that pattern right there, right click, and then I can select this either 2D arrangement select or 3D arrangement select. Let's try 2D. So if you click 2D, now it stay right here. Let's say I just try to click 3D, so it stay the same. However though, when this garment here have the entire pattern on here, it would make a huge difference if you select either 2D or 3D. So we will actually figure out along the way when we actually create this dress, because right now I only have one piece. And by the way guys, by the end of this course we will create this beautiful dress. In fact, let me show you. Let's go to recent. If I multiple, so my next video here going to be this animation. So done multiple. So for, let me share with you with it. So before we are going to cut back to clothes, I would like you to enjoy this fashion show that I created earlier. So right now, welcome to New York, guys. And next we're gonna go to Paris, France. So by the way guys, you can actually create with different garments. For this case, just one example because it saved me time to show you guys this, but you can place with different garments through this avatar. So now we're in London. Next, we're in Munich, Germany. You can also have different motion as well apply onto the avatar. And finally, we're in Berlin, Germany. Okay, the volume is on. So I'm going to check the volume a little bit. Okay, let's see if it. All this stuff right here. Okay, perfect. All right, so now we're gonna get back to clothes. I hope you guys enjoy that. We're gonna get back to clothes here, and we're gonna talk about a couple more. Promise. We are going to create the beautiful dress really soon. And right now we're going to talk about a couple more tools here that we will use for this pattern making process. So I use this edit annotation and annotation tool here. These tools are for labeling the pattern. Let's say if I want to select pattern annotation, I can actually click one right there and then type in front. Click on bodice and then front, and then click on the page right here to deselect. So now we can have this pattern label it, and you use this edit pattern annotation here to click on it and then to delete it. Either right click and then delete, or you can just click on it and then press on the delete or backspace on the keyboard to delete, just like that. And now go back to display menu once again. I'm going to show you a couple more things here that's important. So we have sewing display here. When we sew the garment, we will see the stitches along the side here when we have these either on or off. So show sewing, show top stitches, show pocketing, and so on. And right here we have garment display. So right now we have seam allowance check. Right now we don't see it right here because we don't have seam allowance right here. If we have seam allowance onto the garment, it will appear. Okay, so that is display menu. And in the 3D display menu here, we have multiple thing that important that I want to point out here, we have the show arrangement point. Show arrangement point where we can turn it on and then you can place the pattern onto this. It's quite useful and you use it all the time when you're making pattern and you want to place the pattern onto the avatar. And down here you have show bounding volume. You normally don't use this that much. Show avatar join, only you need to move the avatar join and so on. But we do use the show arrangement point, show avatar all the time when you're making pattern. And down here we have stretch map. So this right here under fit maps. So we want to see how the garment fit. Certain garment you want it fit certain area, tight or loose, and you want to use that fit map. So we'll use that as well. And down here we have texture surface. So this is avatar rendering style. And down here we have texture surface and so on. Let's say if I want to change the avatar here to looks like kind of mannequin like, just like that. You can change between texture to mannequin and mannequin to texture, which is called monochrome. But you can also change it to mesh, which is mesh like right here. As you can see right there, now the avatar just looks like mesh. It still has the same function, it's only different in the appearance, okay? So I'm going to turn back to texture. And actually pretty cool when you first start to use CLO, because now you can actually animate your garment with this mesh. Let me hide the show arrangement point for now. So you can use shortcut key Shift F to hide. So right here, it's actually pretty cool when you're first starting CLO. You can animate and use this avatar. So it's actually pretty awesome. And you can use monochrome and texture. That's where we started earlier. And right here, this is environment. All right. So environments, there are several things that I use all the time. Let's say we want to show control, wind control. The most part that I use here, 3D shadow and ground grid right here. So you can actually show the ground. And when I draft pattern, I like to have the ground show. But when we animate this avatar, we do not need the ground to show. And we have to come back and hide it, which is, one click. And over here, we have show grid right there and the back of the, or back of front, something like that. And you can also come back and hide that. So more over here. So this is also important right here. Quality render 3D window. So this allow you to see the realistic of the fabric. Let's say if I want to make the fabric look shiny, let's say silk or satin, I will come over here to the fabric here and to the property editor, and I want to change the fabric type here to silk and also change the color here a little bit. Let's see, how about blue turquoise, and then apply and close. So right now it should show the reflection of the fabric. So silk, shiny. Oh, I see. Because the fabric is backward. So if we look at over here, let's say let me hide the avatar for now. So if you come over here and then click on avatar display, this show avatar here, you can click once again, now avatar turn off. So right here, the fabric on this side is shiny and on this side isn't. So if you look at the fabric, so this is another thing too. When it's come to making the pattern, certain fabric reflects certain way, and if the fabric flat like this, you can't really see the reflection. The fabric has to turn before you can see the reflection. So if something happened and it's not normal, it's certain thing that you can control here, the way the fabric hold. For example, right here, the fabric flat, we don't see the reflection. Okay. All right, next, let's go down to, we went through show avatar, hide avatar, and here we have show button and show all, pen, and so on. So show button right here is important. Definitely leave them on. And what I want to mention here, if sometime on your garment and you don't see button show and you apply the button, probably you have this thing turned off. So if you miss something on the 3D workspace or 2D workspace, be sure to check on this display menu, and then if it's unchecked, just check it back on. Now you see all your item here. All right. So now let's go through a little bit more tool here. So here we have edit pattern tool. I use it all the time. And if we look at right here, so over here we have something that we want to notice about. So if the tool here blue means that tool is active. And if you see the tool up here that have the pointy up there, that means that is an edit tool. So for example, we have two tools here, annotation and edit annotation tool. So we have annotation tool to use to write down the note on the pattern, name it, and then you use this edit annotation tool to either delete or move it to somewhere. The same right here. However though, right here we have up here and down here, which means this is edit tool as well as we have sub menu tool. If you click on it and then hold it for a while, you will see the sub tool right there. So we have transform point segment, edit link. So let me point out a couple of tools here that I use all the time. Edit curvature tool, smooth curve tool, edit point slash split tool, and of course edit pattern. I use them over and over. See, the thing is guys, when you guys first start to use CLO, try to focus on what tool that we will use to accomplish a task rather than try to learn every tool, because there's so many tools in here. Sometimes you need it for your pattern, but sometimes you don't. Because CLO, you can use it for creating, let's say, furniture, 3D objects, like certain thing that you can print into a 3D. You can send it off to the 3D printer and then print it out. All those kind of stuff. For us as the designer, we need them to draft the pattern. So we want to use certain tool that apply to us, then like you don't blow your mind because you try to learn so many things at once. However though, I still recommend, have fun and then just explore. Like the more you spend time working with CLO, the more you learn about it and you feel comfortable. Let's say, if something doesn't happen, doesn't work right, you can just click on X here to turn it off and then reopen the software. Or it's something like that. However though, when I first let me see. What do you think about the update that they have done to bust circumference? It's improved the fitting for women with bigger chest. That's a good thing to know. Thank you. Yeah, it's always good when they improve on certain thing. Yeah, it is nice. However though, it will keep improving. That just is. And then it come to text world, that's always it's always improving. And by the way, I have a video on how to use AI generator for textile using CLO 3D. It's super amazing, guys. You should check it out. Go to Encoder Fashion, type it in.